Welcome, friends, to another edition of Wolff Responds. Before jumping into the remarkable topic for today, remarkable because Donald Trump, who's famous for saying all kinds of things, has gone one step further that needs a bit of a response. But before jumping into that, I want to let you know that we are resuming our classes. Starting on September 30th, I will be teaching a course called Understanding Capitalism. It'll meet four times, couple of hours each time. There'll be time for questions, and we'll use the new book I just published with Democracy at Work called Understanding Capitalism. I invite you to become part of that class. I will do everything I can to make it interesting. And it is a way of me sharing with you everything I've learned about this system in a lifetime of teaching about it. Okay, what did Donald Trump say? Well, he made a speech and he said that there's a problem in the world called de-dollarization. And he's right. What this means is that all kinds of businesses, individuals, and governments that used to use the dollar as much or sometimes more than their own currency are not doing that anymore. They're relying on the dollar less and relying on their own currencies or other global currencies like the euro or the Japanese yen or the Chinese yuan more and the US dollar less. And Donald Trump is right again, too remarkable for him, that this is a problem for the United States. He doesn't explain it because I guess he may not grasp it all too well, why that is. So I'm going to take a moment to do that. Banks in other countries accumulate dollars. Why? They hold dollars in their vaults in the banks because businesses there are forever buying things from the United States and they need dollars to do that. Or they're making investments here in the United States and they need dollars to do that. Or they're buying from other countries or making investments in other countries or borrowing or lending in other countries. And they prefer to do business in dollars because then they know they can rely on that currency. And it used to be that the dollar was the number one currency in the world. It isn't anymore because the United States was the number one economy in the world, but it isn't anymore. And so they don't. But when they did, it was a really good deal for the United States. And the reason is simple. Suppose we buy something in this country and we pay for it with dollars. A case of wine from France, a high tech electronic equipment from Japan, and on and on. And we pay with dollars. All that the merchant over there does with the dollars we use to pay is go to his bank and say, I got no use for these dollars. Give me a local currency so I can pay my workers and accumulate my wealth. You take the dollars. Now, normally what happens is the bank takes those dollars and provides it to some local person who needs it to buy things from the United States. So in the end, the dollars come back. We have sent products to them. They have sent products to us. We exchange dollars to pay for it. But suppose they're willing to hold the dollars. It means we can send them things we produce, but they don't have to send us anything they produce. They just hold the dollars. They say, thank you. We need the dollars to make our business. We'll take the dollars. You know what it costs to produce a dollar? Nothing. It's a piece of paper. Nowadays, it's electronic, doesn't even require a piece of paper. So the rest of the world accumulated dollars for most of the last 75 years. We got the fruits of the labor, the goods and services that they sent here. We sent them little pieces of paper or little electronic clicks. And guess what? They don't want that to do that anymore. And now that they are becoming rich and powerful, particularly those around China and the BRICS, they don't want this game. They want the world to take their currency so that they can import goods and services and only have to give their pieces of paper, not just have the US play that game. And so they are stopping the use of dollars. And those who have a beef with the United States, like Russia because of the war in Ukraine, like China because of the fighting over Taiwan and so on, they are taking the lead and saying, don't use the dollar. It's becoming part of political warfare. So, what did Mr. Trump do? He recognized this is an issue for our country. We're going to have to sit down and, oh, no, no, no sitting down, no working out. He had a quick solution. Any country that stops using the dollar, he said, we will hit them with 100% tariff. We might start calling Mr. Trump the tariff president. That's what he does. It's what he did in the 4 years that he was president. He threw every tariff he could think of at the Chinese and a few other countries, Russia, Iran, and then, of course, Cuba, because we throw tariffs at them all the time and we don't do worse. But of course, this is crazy. And Mr. Trump is famous for crazy. But let's take a look. What would it mean if the United States got angry? I'm going to take an example at Brazil. Brazil is part of BRICS. Brazil might de-dollarize sooner than most other countries. Brazil is a big shipper of coffee to the United States. If you slap 100% tariff, it doubles the price of anything using Brazilian coffee. Kiss your $6 latte goodbye and welcome to the world of $12 lattes. Yeah, Mr. Trump didn't think through what the effect might be. Does he imagine that every country will just roll over and play dead? Hold on to the dollar despite all the reasons that it's an unfair advantage to the United States? That it is desperately needed to build up their own economy? They're going to forget about all that? They're going to allow the United States to bully them in this way? I don't think so. They'll start playing games. The Brazilian coffee, which would have to pay 100%, will be routed first to, I don't know, Colombia or some other country down there in Latin America. So the coffee will come from that other country. It'll be Brazilian coffee, but it won't have to pay the 100% tax. That's how people evade tariffs, and they always have. That's how people evade sanctions, and they always have. That's why the idea is poor. It doesn't get the results you want, and it makes the whole world angry at you. Every businessman and woman around the world facing a tariff risk in the United States because the world doesn't want to take care of the United States the way it did for the last 75 years. What you're building is a head of steam of hostility and anger and bitterness that Americans are not going to wonder in the future, why do they hate us? Well, one of the reasons is we actually do the kind of thing that wells up in the minds of the Trumps of this country. If you find interventions like this of interest and worthwhile, please share them with friends, associates, family, co-workers. That's why we produce them. And of course, since we always need funds to pay for producing these things, if you can share some of those with us, please do. For the classes that start September 30th, and for donations, and for all the information about our work, just go to our website, democracyatwork.info. All one word, democracyatwork.info. Thank you.